In this video I'm going to show you how to use Excel's data validation feature. It's really good for allowing you to limit what goes into a cell or to put little drop downs in a cell so people click on it and choose from a selection of options which you set. You can also put error messages in there if they input data that's outside the range that you want. A great feature, and if you incorporate it into your spreadsheets they'll be much better than previously. Enjoy using it, you'll have fun. In this video, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to using data validation within Excel. And it's a really useful thing to do to be able to limit what people type into cells and also to give people help with them. And you can create drop-down lists, which I'm sure you've seen. So on this one, a simple one, we're going to say that the salaries must be between £15,000 and £75,000. So we highlight the cells we want to apply data validation to, click on the Data tab and then the Data Validation option, and then in here you'll see you've got lots of options. You've got 3 tabs at the top and what it will allow. So at the moment there's nothing it will allow us to type anything in, but we're going to say it's going to be a whole number. It's going to be between, but we could say not between, equal to, etc. It's very flexible what you can do, but we're simply going to say between 15,000 and 75,000. That's all we need to do. However, we could put an input message here. Just trust me on this, it's a waste of time. It comes up and it becomes a nuisance, but you try it at your leisure. The error alert is really useful. Here you can tell it that you've got 3 options. It will stop and the user has to put something within the criteria you've specified. It will warn them and they can go back. Or information allows them to put what they want in, and I use that quite a bit. Yeah, so it says, it's kind of wishy-washy, but it says, well, you really should put something in between 15,000 and 75,000, but you can go on. The other ones stop them in their tracks. I'll put the information option in, and the title is what will appear when the dialog comes up, what will appear here where this one says data validation, where my mouse is. So I'll put, but obviously you'd put something a bit more professional than that. Error from system, error message, just for tidiness I always click back on settings. I'll click OK, and then you'll see when I click on one of these cells, if I type in 15,001, it's fine. If I go 14,999, I get my error message. See, error from Steve here, and what I typed in. I click OK and it lets me go ahead. And again in this one, if I go 75,999, same thing happens. If I'd have put a stop in there, it wouldn't have let me go on until I'd entered a number that met those criteria. So that's fairly simple data validation, but really, really useful. The one that, when I'm training people, the one that most people ask about is where it gives you a drop-down list for people to choose from. So we'll look at that. If I go data val list, similar sort of thing. These are bonus figures. In this case, bonuses are either £1,000 or £1,500. So I'll select the cells I want to apply data validation to. Click on data, data validation. In this case, you see it's initially saying any value. I'll click on there and choose list. And then the source list, I'm just going to specify these 2 cells. I need to let you know though, it's quite common to set up a list on another sheet and name it as a named range and refer to the named range. But this is going to work just fine. You could actually just type in here. You could type in 1,000, 1,500. That's not best practice because you need to remember where it is, where you've applied data validation and then come into data validation. Whereas if you specify these cells, you only need to change it in these 2 cells. Error alert, I'm going to get it to stop. I'll click OK, and you'll see on that first one I immediately get a drop down, so I can choose from there. What people don't realise with these data validation fields is you can actually just type in them. So if I type in one of those figures, it's fine. If I type in 999, for example, which isn't one of those figures, it gives me that error. I can either cancel, which leaves it blank, or I can retry, which puts me back in the cell. And that's basic data validation. Have a look at it. It's really, really powerful.